7वटा देशबाट प्रतिनिधित्व गरेर आउनुभएका यो कानुनको क्षेत्रमा विशेष रुचि राख्ने र यो रिजनमा देशहरूको बीचको सम्बन्धलाई बनाउनुपर्छ भन्ने उद्देश्य राखेर आउनुभएका आदरणीय सहभागी साथीहरू, यो काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लद्वारा आयोजित पहिलो काठमाडौँ डायलगको उद्घाटन समारोहमा उपस्थितिका निम्ति सहभागी हुन पाउँदा सबभन्दा पहिले म आफूलाई अत्यन्त खुसी। नेपाल, भारत, पाकिस्तान, अफगानिस्तान, बङ्गलादेश, मित्र राष्ट्र चीन र युगान्डाका युवाहरू बीच अनुभव, ज्ञान र भावना आदान प्रदान गर्ने अवसर सृजना गर्नुभएकोमा सबभन्दा पहिले म काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ ललाई हार्दिक धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु र यो नयाँ र विशेष इनिसिएसनको लागि हार्दिक बधाई पनि भन्न चाहन्छु। नयाँ पुस्ताका युवा तथा विद्यार्थीहरू बीचको अनुभव र ज्ञानको आदान प्रदानले बहुपक्षीय मुलुक बीचको अन्तर सम्बन्धमा यो ब्रिजको काम गर्नेछ, पुलको काम गर्नेछ भन्ने म ठान्दछु। एक अर्कालाई अझ गहिरो गरी बुझ्ने मौका प्रदान गर्ने विश्वास लिएको छु। तपाईहरू विदेशी पाहुनाहरूलाई हाम्रो सुन्दर र विविधतायुक्त देशमा हार्दिक स्वागत पनि गर्न चाहन्छु। नेपाल विकासोन्मुख मुलुक हो। लामो समय पोलिटिकल इन्स्टेबिलिटीबाट हाम्रो मुलुक गुज्रियो, जसका कारण हाम्रो देशले आर्थिक विकास र उन्नतिमा राम्रो प्रदर्शन गर्न सकेन। तर आज यसो भनिरहँदा हामी राजनीतिक स्थायित्व र विकासको बाटोमा अग्रसर भइरहेका छौँ भन्ने कुरा म यहाँहरू सबैलाई निवेदन गर्न चाहन्छु। आर्थिक समृद्धि र विकासको यात्रामा मुलुकलाई अगाडि बढाउने बहस भइरहँदा तपाईहरूले आयोजना गर्नुभएको यो जमघट आफैमा अत्यन्त महत्त्वपूर्ण र सन्देशमूलक छ भन्ने विश्वास मैले लिएको छु। सन् 2015 नेपाली जनताका प्रतिनिधिहरूबाट पहिलो पटक संविधान जारी भए पश्चात यसलाई कार्यान्वयन गर्ने कुरामा हामी अघि बढिरहेका छौँ। खास गरी संविधानले व्यवस्था गरेको गणतन्त्र, धर्मनिरपेक्षता र संहिता जस्ता महत्त्वपूर्ण पक्षलाई व्यवस्थित गर्दै हामीहरू धेरै अगाडि बढिसकेका छौँ। संविधानको मर्म बमोजिम 3 तहको निर्वाचन सम्पन्न गरिसकेका छौँ। देशलाई संहिताको संस्थागत र संरचनागत विकासतर्फ हामी अगाडि बढाइरहेका छौँ। हामीले नयाँ संरचना, संस्था र प्रक्रियाको थालनी गरेका छौँ। सम्पूर्ण रूपमा नयाँ व्यवस्थामा जाँदा त्यही अनुरूपको नयाँ समस्याहरू सृजना हुने कुरा स्वाभाविक नै भयो। संविधानले नयाँ ऐन नियमहरू बनाउन र संविधानको कार्यान्वयन गर्न हामीलाई 3 वर्षको समय प्रदान गरेको थियो। हामीले 3 वर्ष पार गर्न लागिरहँदा यसमा महत्त्वपूर्ण सफलताहरू हामीले हासिल गरेका छौँ। हामीले भर्खरै यही हप्ता मात्रै 5वटा नयाँ ऐनहरू कार्यान्वयनमा ल्याएका छौँ भने यही बिचमा नयाँ मुलुकी ऐन, देवानी तथा फौजदारी संहिता हामीहरूले जारी गरेका छौँ, जुन नेपालको कानुनको इतिहासमा एउटा हिस्टोरिकल स्टेप हो भन्ने हामी ठान्दछौँ। नयाँ संविधानलाई पूर्णतः कार्यान्वयन गर्न सङ्घीय सरकारका लागि 110, प्रदेश सरकारका लागि 22 र स्थानीय निकायका लागि 6वटा कानुनहरू बनाउनु पर्ने आवश्यकता छ। त्यसमध्ये स्थानीय निकायले बनाउनु पर्ने 6 वटा कानुनहरूमध्ये सङ्घीय सरकारको कानुन न्याय तथा संसदीय मामला मन्त्रालयले सबै स्थानीय निकायलाई नमुना पठाएर सबै स्थानीय निकायले ती कानुनहरू पारित पनि गरिसकेका छन् र ती कानुन कार्यान्वयनमा आइसकेका छन्। हामी एउटा गतिका साथ अब अगाडि बढ्दैछौँ। यो तपाईहरुका निम्ति जानकारी रहोस् भन्नको लागि मैले एउटा सन्दर्भवश यो प्रसङ्ग उठाएको कुरा। सङ्घीय सरकारको कानुन न्याय तथा संसदीय मामला मन्त्रालयले 17 वटा कानुनहरूको नमुना सबै प्रदेशहरूमा पठाएपछि ती निकायहरू पारित गराएर पनि कार्यान्वयनमा आइसकेको छ। नमुना बनाउने क्रियाकलाप गर्दैछ र त्यो चाँडै प्रदेश सरकारलाई हामी उपलब्ध गराउँछौँ। मैले यो सबै हामी संविधान र कानुनका कुन प्रक्रियाबाट अगाडि बढ्दैछौँ यसको एउटा संक्षिप्त जानकारीको लागि मात्रै यो प्रसङ्ग उल्लेख गरेको कुरा म जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। निर्माण गर्नुपर्ने छन् तीमध्ये 11 वटा कानुनहरू संसदबाट पारित भइसकेका छन् भने बाँकी 5 वटा मध्ये 4 वटा सङ्घीय सरकारको मन्त्री परिषदबाट पारित भएर संसदमा गइसकेका छन् र बाँकी एउटा मन्त्री परिषदका विचाराधीन अवस्थामा पनि छ। यसरी हामीले निर्माण गर्नुपर्ने 138 वटा कानुनहरूमध्ये जम्मा 15 वटा कानुनहरू मात्रै निर्माण गर्न बाँकी छन् र ती बाँकी भएका कानुनहरू दैनिक जीवनका लागि अत्यावश्यक कानुनहरू नभएकाले तत्काल हामीलाई संवैधानिक र कानुनी समस्याहरू आउने छैन। तथापि हामीहरू निर्धारित समयभित्रै ती कानुनहरू पनि बनाउनेछौँ। यो म यहाँहरूलाई जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। मूलतः हामी आर्थिक र सामरिक दुवै हिसाबले शक्तिशाली मुलुक जनगणतन्त्र चीन र भारतको बीचमा अवस्थित छौँ। त्रिदेशीय सम्बन्धको अन्तर्गुलनमा हाम्रा सम्बन्धहरू विकसित हुँदैछन्। मूलतः दुई देश बीचको उच्च आर्थिक प्रगति हाम्रा निम्ति सहयोगी र मार्गनिर्देशन बन्ने अपेक्षा हामीले लिएका छौँ। यति बेला हामीले एउटा नारा अगाडि सारेका छौँ, समृद्ध नेपाल सुखी नेपाली। यसलाई एउटा अभियानको रूपमा हामीहरू अगाडि बढाउने प्रयत्नमा छौँ र यसको लागि दुई छिमेकी मुलुकको साथ र सहयोग हाम्रा निम्ति अपरिहार्य छ। म यो सभामा केवल दुईटा छिमेकी मुलुकको मात्रै कुरा गर्दिनँ। यहाँहरू जुन जुन देशबाट प्रतिनिधित्व गरेर आउनुभएका छ सबै साथीहरूलाई हामी ती सबै मित्र देशहरूसित हामी सहयोगका साथ अगाडि बढ्न चाहन्छौँ। हाम्रो अपेक्षा यो हो भन्ने कुरा पनि म निवेदन गर्न चाहन्छु। यस अभियानमा सरकार र नेपाली जनताको मात्रै नभएर हामीप्रति सद्भाव राख्ने मित्र राष्ट्रहरूको पनि साथ र सहयोगको अपेक्षा हामीले गरेका छौँ। परम्परागत प्रणालीका साथै मानवीय सुरक्षा, गरिबी निवारण, विपद व्यवस्थापनसँग कसरी जुझ्ने भन्ने सन्दर्भमा ध्यान दिनुपर्छ र हामीले केही कामको तयारी गर्न खोज्दैछौँ। यो हाम्रो तयारीमा तपाईँहरूको अनुभवहरू हाम्रो लागि सहयोगी हुनेछन् भन्ने हाम्रो विश्वास हो। त्यस सन्दर्भमा तपाईँहरूका सुझाव र दृष्टिकोण हाम्रा निम्ति सहयोगी सिद्ध हुनेछन्। म यहाँहरूलाई यो निवेदन गर्न चाहन्छु। हामी समृद्ध नेपालको अभियानमा जुटिरहँदा सुरक्षा निकायलाई समृद्धको अभियानमा कसरी परिचालन गर्ने भन्ने सन्दर्भमा सुझाव आउनु भन्ने पनि हामी चाहन्छौँ।
Thanks to Brigadier General Gokulji, then Govinda Kushumsha, then also I was supposed to thank in presence, but Her Excellency Ambassador Yu Hong got a very special notice, so she had to leave. Thank you very much also. Both of you, Govinda sir is always with me. I mean, whenever I make a mistakes, I ask him, and then I just finished a book writing on strategically from the point of view exactly what Professor Casey said. It's not geopolitics, it is geoeconomics now. We should become rich. When I was writing this book, I got a couple of very important information. Hidden in Chinese chronicles actually. In Chinese language, but somehow a couple of my friends helped me to translate it. In 640, that means almost 1400 years before, when Islam captured Khotan, a place also called Khotan, meeting India, China and Middle East. They captured Khotan and the Silk Road to go to Europe and China and India blocked. So Xian, the emperor of Xian, then sent to his emissary headed by Wang Shuans to Xuanchun Gompo, and he asked to find out if it is possible to continue Silk Road via Nepal. But that time our king was in Tibet. He was in asylum because there was a problem here in Nepal. Abhir military chief put a young crown prince in throne, and they had to flee to Tibet. So since our king was there that time, that king became king of Nepal. They came here, and that time onwards, Nepal established a center. Kathmandu was a center of Silk Road, which even Chinese historians have not much explored, and Indian historians not explored. So this is first time I explored a lot of this historical fact. So Silk Road from Kathmandu, Banaras, then Lucknow, and then west to Afghanistan, and then Iraq, and Iran, Iraq, and then Italy. So that was a Silk Road, almost went for 300 years. That made us so rich in Kathmandu. So today we have so big temples. Nepal became really rich that time. And what was rich Nepal's role, you know? Both India was requesting Nepal to keep its good relation with China, and Chinese emperors were urging Nepal to keep good relations with Magad that time. So if Nepal is rich, only then we can bring China and India together. So that is what is for me geoeconomics. So we should be rich. If we want to reach alone, we cannot be rich. We should help India become also rich, northern India. And the only way of north part of India becoming rich is bringing Chinese investment in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. So instead of Jatiya racial politics, I think industry should come out in North India. That's what we believe. And if that happens, so what India will get? India will get a chance to go to West China, can establish a lot of industry, and then from West China they can go to Central Asia and they can go to Europe. So India will be rich, China will be rich. Two rich countries will not be harmful to Nepal. Only hungry tigers become dangerous. So if China and India both are developed, why they are threatening to us? So we want to be a part of that. So only reason of this program is that let's South Asia in 1830. In 1830, India plus South Asia had 13.5% GDP of the world. 13.5% of the world GDP. China had 7% GDP in 1830. Total Europe had only 3%. Just opposite today. South Asia has only 3% GDP. China is going up. Europe had so big. How it happened? Because the colonial rule over last 200 years looted everything from South Asia and China, so we became poor. So today, together Southeast Asia, South Asia, China and Gulf, Asia has become a big hub. economic hub. Probably that would not be very welcoming kind of thing to the West. So maybe West then try to divide India and China, try to divide South Asia, Southeast Asia and China. Maybe West will try to divide Japan and China. So if we Asians are wise people like in the ancient time, the time of Chanakya, time of Lao Tzu, Confucius, and many other philosophers, it is for Raj Chanduk in India, me in Kathmandu, and Professor Litao come together, forget conflict, develop industry, develop economy, and become hub of the world. We can live together. So this is the beginning Kathmandu Dialogue. So we have to invite young people. Maybe in my generation I will not be happy to have this very good opportunity had. But in your generation probably it is possible. So these 40 people in Kathmandu over the next 7 days will be discussing not to explore what Indian television said and what Nepalese television said. But we will discuss what can we learn from China and what can we learn from India. How can we come closer? How can we become good friends? And how can we protect our independence, resolve our problem? We can remain a very viable and very strong Asia without fight. So this is the responsibility of young generation. So we are here. So I would like to thank you.
Thank you, Mamta. You have made my task very easy by welcoming all for the ceremony of Kathmandu Dialogue along with summer school. Professor Madhav Prasad Acharya, the President of Kathmandu School of Law. From China to Nepal. Keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Yuvraj Sanglora, Executive Director, Kathmandu School of Law and former Attorney General.
And sets up international dialogue platform, for which I believe deserving appreciation and the strong support. What impresses me most is that the school strives to push young students into communication and the discussions on the major issues of the current development, help them better understand our era, and stimulate their enthusiasm and responsibility for common prosperity. Nowadays, the world is full of challenges, and faced with unprecedented great changes and profound readjustment. People of all countries expect development. Global growth requires new drivers. Development needs to be more inclusive and balanced, and the gap between the rich and the poor needs to be narrowed. 1 century ago, it is impossible for one to imagine that production factors could flow so freely throughout the globe as today. However, with the development of science and technology and improvement of productivity, economic globalization is driving forward in an irresistible manner. The infrastructure is extensively connected, global trade keeps growing, global governance mechanism is increasingly improved, and exchanges among people become unrepresented profound. The realization and the development of economic globalization is not only necessary, but also possible as well. In 2013, President Xi Jinping of China proposed the Belt and Road Initiative, which strives for common prosperity and development, and building for a community with a shared future for mankind. This year marks the 5th anniversary of the BRI. Over the past 5 years, it has received extensive support from around the world and produced concrete fruits, early harvests. The reason behind this is that the BRI is based on globalization, and in the BRI expected to get rid of the underdevelopment trap. So far, nearly 90 countries and international organizations have signed BRI cooperation agreement with China. The BRI has become the largest platform for international cooperation and the most welcomed public good in the world. The BRI follows the principle of equality and mutual benefits. Countries cooperate at equal footing and pursue common development through consultation and collaboration. All parties are equal participants, equal contributors, and equal beneficiaries. The BRI is open, inclusive, and totally transparent. It is not only an inclusive, it is not an exclusive club. We hope that all BRI projects are of high standard and high quality. We lay great emphasis on green development, environmental protection, and debt sustainability. We are aware of the importance of strategies among countries and enable complementarity of strengths, unlocks more potential and broader space for cooperation. The BRI is based on rules and has always been conducted within the confines of international rules and law. We are expecting the negotiation of agreements on trade and investment, finance and taxation, FPR transport, environmental protection, and other matters, and provide institutional safeguard for the BRI cooperation. The contribution from the legal community has great significance for BRI cooperation. The participating countries shall pay attention to the soft connectivities of policies, rules, standards, improve the legal safeguard, create a law-based business environment, and deepen legal exchanges and international cooperation. China and Nepal are friendly neighbors linked by mountains and rivers. For a long time, the two countries respect each other and treat each other equally. Political mutual trust and the friendship between peoples of the two countries is the most precious part in China-Nepal relations. Recent years has seen rapid development of bilateral relations, with cooperation between us expanding extensively. China and Nepal signed an MOU on the BRI in 2017, which opens broader space for the development of bilateral relations. In June this year, Right Honorable Mr. K.P. Sharma Oli, Prime Minister of Nepal, made a successful visit to China. The leaders of the two countries reached extensive consensus on consolidating China-Nepal relations and advancing pragmatic cooperation, and decided to enhance connectivity, encompassing such vital components as ports, roads, railways, aviation, and communications within the overarching framework of Trans-Himalaya Multi-Dimensional Connectivity Network.
Because of their capability to make things happen positively in the form of innovators and entrepreneurs. They have a zeal to do something better for the society and ultimately for the country. For doing so, they need to empower. If we fail to meaningfully involve and respond to the need of largest generation of young men and women of total 1.8 billion the world has ever known, no country can achieve this goal. Young people's participation in governance, expansion of their positive roles in fragile humanitarian settings, and engagement in promoting social innovation are the major areas of their active involvement. It can be made meaningful once a common forum for dialogue is created and disseminated the outcomes of deliberations on bilateral and multilateral socio-economic issues. I am quite hopeful that the Kathmandu Dialogue will quench the thirst of the need of today. As you have come to know, Nepal experienced so many vicissitudes within the period of last 20 years. People's movement for multi-party democracy in 1990s, 10-year-long march People's War, post-conflict peace building, constitution making by the Constitutional Assembly, and lastly, general elections for federal government, Pradesh government, and local level governments are some of the major happenings that changed the socio-political environment of Nepal. However,
contingent members, military observers, liaison officers, staff officers, even Nepal police and armed police forces are serving in different parts of the globe for the peace. Devotion of troops to duty and excellent performance has been widely acclaimed. They have also successfully carried out the most challenging as well as complex tasks. So far, 63 personnel of Nepalese army have already sacrificed their lives in the line of duty, and 66 have been disabled for the noble cause of peace. Presently, Nepal is the 6th largest troops contributing country for United Nations peacekeeping operations. Nepalese army has contributed more than 120,000 troops in 42 different UN missions, and currently 5,031 troops are serving in 12 different UN missions in 11 countries as DR Congo, South Sudan, Sudan, Morocco, Israel, Lebanon, Mali, Syria, Central African Republic, Iraq, and Libya. This year, Nepal is celebrating 60 years in peacekeeping operation by organizing various programs within and outside the country. Ladies and gentlemen, today Nepal is one of the reliable troops contributors in the UN peacekeeping operations, and the performance of the Nepali troops in the field has received wide acclaim from the entire global community. To manage the increasing demand in UN mission, the Nepalese Army Headquarters has created Directorate of Peacekeeping Operations in the Army Headquarters. The Directorate is responsible for managing the contribution process, including selection and pre-mission training and capacity building. Likewise, the government of Nepal established Virendra Peacekeeping Operation Training Center in BPOTC in 1986 at Panskal, which is around 60 kilometers from Kathmandu.